The insurrection at the Capitol and President Trump's role in inciting it has led to consideration of something unprecedented in modern history, invoking the 25th Amendment to declare the president unfit and thus remove him from office.
Calls to remove President Trump from office are growing louder today.
I joined the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the vice president to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment.
Hello everyone, Ava Johnson here. What just unfolded is a historic moment that people will discuss for years to come. Congress has officially moved to invoke the 25th Amendment with support from both parties, declaring Trump unfit to serve. At the same time, Trump is reacting publicly as his own vice president and cabinet members take action against him. These are individuals he personally chose and trusted to stand by him no matter what, yet they are now the ones making this decision. It's not Democrats, the media, or any outside force he has blamed in the past, it's his own team. Take a look at this intense hearing yourself and stay tuned as a full analysis will be shared later in the video.
Deborah spoke with Margaret Brennan, moderator of Face the Nation.
What would be involved if the 25th Amendment were to be successfully invoked?
For this to actually happen, there would have to be a majority of those senior advisors, those cabinet officials who go to the vice president and say, we collectively believe that the president should not remain in office. The vice president would have to agree to that. The president can object, and if he objects, then Congress has to weigh in, and a two-thirds majority in the House and the Senate would have to be on board with doing so.
The latest development that has shaken Washington, a strong coalition of 25 House members, a clear supermajority, has approved a formal resolution, urging Vice President JD Vance and most of the cabinet to declare Donald Trump unable to carry out his presidential duties. This is not a close or easily dismissed vote, nor is it limited to one party. With 265 representatives backing it, the message is significant and unmistakable. A large majority in the House has officially gone on record expressing that the president should not continue serving in office, marking a serious and highly consequential political moment.
Donald Trump, who's currently 78 years old and regularly frequents McDonald's and loves his Diet Cokes, would end his second term as the oldest person ever to serve as president of the United States. In fact, he'd be 82 years, 7 months, and 6 days when his term would end in January of 2029. But Trump refuses to release even the most basic information about his health. Kind of makes you wonder, what's he hiding? And not to mention his rambling, meandering speeches have led to mental health experts going on the record concerned about potential cognitive decline. Trump's history of shocking gaffes and outbursts suggests that things are just going to go even further downhill from here.
Take a moment to absorb those numbers, 265 votes. This is not a slim margin or a routine party line decision. It reflects a powerful and unified stance from Congress expressing deep concern about the president's ability to continue leading the country. The reasons listed are serious, including claims of erratic actions, repeated outbursts, and ongoing instability that many believe can no longer be overlooked. This is presented not as a typical political disagreement, but as a formal and documented position supported by a large majority of representatives. According to this decision, many lawmakers reviewed the situation carefully and concluded that the concerns are too significant to ignore any longer, marking a highly serious and impactful moment in American politics.
Well, in Washington today, the House will give Vice President Pence a chance to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove President Trump from office. Or House Speaker Pelosi will go through with a vote on a single article of impeachment as soon as tomorrow. The abrupt resignation of Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chuck Wolf has added to the tension in Washington. His announcement came hours after the FBI said armed protests have been coordinated outside all of 50 state capitol buildings in the week ahead.
The 25th Amendment has been mentioned in past administrations, often discussed quietly by analysts or debated in media circles. But it has never been acted upon at this magnitude. It has never received this level of bipartisan agreement or been backed by such strong political momentum. What sets this moment apart is the sheer scale of support behind the action. Supporters argue that recent events have raised concerns that can no longer be set aside or minimized. Unlike earlier situations that remained private or speculative, this issue is unfolding openly, with the public able to witness developments as they happen. According to those backing the move, Congress is responding directly to what many believe is clear and visible. Because of this, 265 lawmakers have taken one of the most serious constitutional steps, short of removal, formally stating that the president is unable to fulfill the responsibilities required by the office at this time. We are looking at a situation being described as one in which a sitting president is no longer able to function as a stable and rational leader. Terms like erratic Unpredictable and potentially dangerous are no longer being used only by political opponents. They are now being echoed in formal discussions among lawmakers. Members of Congress are arguing that the issue has escalated to such a serious level that waiting for a traditional impeachment process, which can stretch over weeks or even months, is no longer practical. Instead, they believe the circumstances call for the fastest constitutional option available to address the situation before it worsens any further. What makes this moment particularly remarkable is the level of bipartisan support behind the effort. A significant number of Republican lawmakers have joined Democrats in backing the resolution. These are individuals from the president's own party who have examined the situation and decided that action is necessary. When a president begins to lose support from within their own political base, it signals a profound shift. It suggests that the issue is no longer being viewed through a strictly partisan lens, but rather as a broader concern about leadership and national stability. Another major factor drawing attention is the president's public behavior during this period. Reports describe a rapid series of social media posts made over a short time span, many written in an emotional and highly charged tone. These posts reportedly include strong accusations, warnings, and confrontational language directed not only at political opponents, but also at individuals within his own administration. Observers argue that this kind of public reaction is reinforcing the concerns being raised by lawmakers, as it is happening openly rather than behind closed doors. For many, it adds urgency to the situation and strengthens the argument that immediate action may be required. At the center of the debate is the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, specifically Section 4. This provision lays out a clear process for transferring presidential power. If the president is deemed unable to carry out the duties of the office under this mechanism, if the vice president and a majority of cabinet members agree that the president cannot perform his responsibilities, the vice president immediately assumes the role of acting president. This transition of authority happens instantly, without any waiting period. After that, Congress is given a strict timeline of 21 days to decide whether to make the change permanent. Because of this structure, attention is now focused heavily on the vice president and cabinet officials. They hold the authority to initiate the process, making their decision critical. Reports suggest that discussions are taking place within the administration itself, which indicates that the pressure is not coming solely from Congress or external sources. Instead, it appears to be building from within the executive branch as well. The threshold for action between the majority of cabinet members along with the vice president is relatively attainable compared to impeachment, which requires a more complex and time-consuming sequence of votes. Supporters of invoking the 25th Amendment argue that recent developments point to a consistent pattern of instability. They believe the situation has reached a point. The Constitution, they argue, includes this provision specifically for moments when swift action is required to maintain continuity and protect the country. The fact that members of the president's own party are involved suggests that internal disagreements may continue long after the immediate crisis is resolved. There are signs of uncertainty as well. Market reactions, including fluctuations and investor concern, reflect unease about the stability of leadership. At the highest level of governments, such uncertainty can have ripple effects influencing everything from business confidence to international perceptions. Cabinet members now find themselves in an especially challenging position. Their responsibilities require them to weigh multiple factors, including national security, economic conditions, and the country's global reputation. At the same time, they must consider their constitutional duty, which is to the nation and its governing principles, rather than to any individual leader. This creates a complex decision-making environment where personal judgment, political considerations, and legal obligations all intersect. If the 25th Amendment is invoked, the process does not end there. The president would have the opportunity to contest the decision, potentially leading to a period of legal and political conflict. Congress would then be required to review the situation and make a final determination within the 21-day window. During that time, the acting president would retain full authority, ensuring that government functions continue without interruption. This aspect of the amendment is designed to prevent any power vacuum during moments of crisis. One of the most important distinctions between this process and impeachment lies in the immediacy of its effects. In an impeachment scenario, the president typically remains in office while proceedings take place, which can prolong uncertainty. In contrast, the 25th Amendment allows for an immediate transfer of power once the required declaration is made. This difference is a key reason why some lawmakers are advocating for this approach. They believe it provides a faster and more decisive response to urgent concerns. Looking ahead, several possible outcomes remain. If the vice president and cabinet decide to move forward, the transfer of power would occur right away. Congress would then deliberate and vote within the designated time frame. If the required supermajority is reached, the removal would become permanent. If not, the president could regain authority. Each of these scenarios carries its own political and legal consequences, making the coming days especially critical. This situation is also likely to have lasting effects on the political landscape. The level of division within the president's own party suggests that internal conflicts could persist well into the future. These divisions may influence upcoming elections, reshape party leadership, and alter the broader direction of political discourse. It is a moment that could redefine alliances and set new precedents for how similar situations are handled. In the end, this is not just about one individual or one decision. It is about the functioning of a system designed to handle crises while maintaining stability. The coming days will reveal how that system operates under pressure and what lessons will be drawn from this unprecedented moment.